Hey everyone, this is Philip Anthony, and I'm here in my hotel room. I'm in San Francisco, and I just finished a great workshop, and there was about 100 families that went to this workshop. And what I wanted to talk about today is the idea of what I call results-based thinking. Now, what I mean by results-based thinking is that when you're doing your workshops or you're doing your consultations, you're doing your seminars, you're doing your client appointments, is that everything that you do needs to be based with a specific result or specific outcome that you have in mind. And I'm going to give you an example. So when I did this seminar that was out here in San Francisco, I had a goal of getting at least half of the families that went there to sign up for a consultative appointment with one of my sales reps. Okay, that was my goal. And our turnout was astronomical. It was absolutely amazing. I was so blessed, so thankful for everyone that showed up. We had over 125 families that showed up to this event. And when I talk about results-based thinking, for example here, these are all the families that signed up for my consultations, okay? So you see this right here? It's almost like money, right? I just want to go, okay, let me stop right now, okay? But here's the point, is these are about, I have about 65 consultations that signed up, so I hit my number right on the mark. It's about 52%. And what's interesting here is I want to give you guys a quick strategy of something you can do in your college planning seminars that will make you more money. And here's an example, is on my evaluation forms, and it might be kind of hard to see it, so what I'll do is I'm just going to kind of read it to you, is I ask a question on my evaluation form. It says, do you receive our newsletter? And then obviously they say no, because they literally just came to the seminar. And then I put, if you would like to receive our free email newsletter, please put your email address here and give us permission to send you an emails. So now I have their permission to send emails, and I'm already creating a highly responsive email list. And if you know my training, when I talk about this idea of having a high quality lead generation strategy, well, a good quality lead generation strategy is to have a highly responsive prospect list. And the way you build your prospecting email list is right, here's an example right now, is you can go do this starting tomorrow. When you do your seminars, on your evaluation forms, if you have one, say, are you part of my newsletter? If not, then would you like to be added to it? And instantly you have a fan who, right after the buying temperature of your seminar, is going to be wanting and willing to get more information from you. And then the second thing I put here is I said, if you could improve this workshop, how would you envision it being different? And the reason why you want to ask that question is now it gives them compelling reasons to really justify how great your event was. And this is assuming that if you did a good event. And usually on this section of my evaluation forms, they put great workshop, fantastic, couldn't have been better, etc., etc. So it creates a justifying reason for the prospect to really believe that you're great and that your services are going to be just as great. And here's the other key thing I did, is then I put here, rate your concern from 0 to 10 as far as your concern in the following topics. And I put college admissions, college search, financial aid, college funding, student motivation. And I have them rated from 1 to 10, obviously 10 being most important to them, 1 being not. And why is it that I do that? And the reason why I do this is because based off this rating system, now I know what kind of information to send this specific prospect. So remember when I talked about how to create magnetic marketing, and we talked about in magnetic marketing that the idea behind magnetic marketing is relevance, that it's specific to what the prospect's going through. It is something that they can identify with, and your only way to understand what they're specifically going through is not playing genie in a bottle and guessing your way through your marketing. It's actually asking them in your surveys and in your materials so that you know exactly what you're doing. And that's one of the best things that you can do in your surveys is ask the prospects what their pain are, or what their pain is, so that you have the necessary ammunition to craft a marketing message that speaks to their exact concerns. And then I also put here to indicate their GPA and to also indicate their income level. So I know this prospect makes over $150,000 a year. Well, that's great because they're going to be a good candidate for my Platinum program, which is $4,000, and they're going to be a good candidate for my Elite program, which is about $7,000. And if they were over the $300,000 mark, then I would talk about my my VIP program as well as my diamond level program, which can go up to about $30,000-$40,000. So when you know the income level, it gives you an idea of whether they're qualified prospects or not. If they put here less than $80,000 a year, well, then that would also tell me what kinds of programs I need to pitch and what kinds of pre-sale material I should send them to prepare their specific mind for the price point that I'm going to introduce in their consultative appointment. And I also put how many kids are in their family, just some other questions here. Now here's the other key thing I do here. If you want to learn how to automatically book people for consultations without having to actually sit there and put it on your calendar manually, is I put here I put here the following days and times have been already pre-screened to work based on our schedule. And here's the key here. I put days and times and dates that already work for my schedule, or for, in this case, my sales people schedule. The prospects can automatically circle the day, they can circle the time, and they circle the date of when they want their consultation. And what happens is when I hand out these evaluation forms, we design it to where there's a very small percentage of redundancies. And then it puts here, please note that this is only a tentative date and time, and that in the event of a double booking, that we'll have to call you and reschedule. But the way we set this up is that 80% of the people that just fill this out and they pick a time and date are going to automatically be able to just have this date. There won't be a double booking. And sorry, I think the phone's ringing here for a second, so let's go ahead and get that answered. Okay, so what's going to happen here is they're going to put the date and the time, and only about 20% of them are going to have double bookings. We call them, and then we'll go ahead and reschedule them. But when you do an event with 125 families like I did last night, or 200 or 300 or 400, 500 families, or even 1,000 that I've done, you're not going to have enough time to try to book people one-on-one. And so by using this kind of system where they can just automatically put their date and time and when they want to do their consultation, you're going to be able to get literally automatic appointments put on your calendar without even thinking about it. So that's what I did, for instance. And so for my 65 families that signed up for free consultative appointments, I'm going to bet that probably around 80% of them, which is going to be about 40 of them, are going to be great, and then the other 20 we're going to have to call and then reschedule them and get them going. Okay, so that's another little interesting strategy that you can do. The last thing I'm going to share in this video is, how would you guys like for me to teach you how to automatically make money at your seminars even before you do any kind of sales appointments or consultative appointments? So this little pile right here is a pile of families that had ordered a copy of my book. I wish I had one here to show you guys, but they're all sold out from last night. I'm the author of College Planning System for Success, and if you have subscribed or were part of my authorship mastery training series, I talk about this idea of authorship and writing books as a very valuable marketing tool within your college planning business, but also as a monetization strategy at your seminars. So I offer my books for sale at the seminars, and I'm not going to get into the covert persuasion behind how I get people to buy lots of books at my events, but just to cut to the chase here, we sold about 30 copies of the book. Okay, now check this out. 30 copies of the book, I sold it for $20 each, and that is $600. Now, here's how I could have multiplied this. And I didn't do it last night just because my #1 goal was the consultative appointments, but you can do this if you want. If you're an author or if you have something else of value that you can sell at the stage, I always recommend selling from the stage, because then it can pay for the flight, it pays for the cost, it pays for everything associated with getting to the seminar, and then your consultative appointments are your back end. And then if you have additional back ends, and that's the back end for the back end, which is very profitable, right? So when they bought the copies of the book, I have an order form that they fill out, and they put their credit card information or check or cash, and then what I have there is I said, are you too busy to read this book? Or I'll say, is your student, are you afraid your student's not going to read this book? If so, I can automatically send you the audio version of this book where each chapter is turned into a CD, which you automatically download. If so, please check this box, and it's an additional $49.97 for that, so $50 for the audiobook. Okay, now let me ask you a question. Do you think anybody would buy an audiobook for $50 on like Amazon.com or maybe on like iTunes? Probably not, right? 50% of the families who usually buy the book will do the audiobook upsell for $50 additional dollars. And the reason why they'll do it is because, remember how we talked about this in our persuasion training? We said we need to automatically come up and teach the prospect reasons for why they should buy. Don't assume anything. So thinking about that metaphor that I talked about in the other video, where sort of don't assume anything about the prospect, don't assume that they're going to find value in the audiobook. Teach them why there's value. It's a way for your student to listen to the book. It's a reason for you to listen to the book. Teach them. You can even say, how would you like to drive to and from work listening to the College Planning System for Success audio series so that you can get the information versus just buying a book? And they'll say, yes, I'll get the additional upsell for $50. And so let's say I sold these 30 books, and I didn't offer the audio book in this one, but let's say I did, and the audio series was the $50. Well, if half of them did it out of 30, that's 15. So 15 times $50, what is that? That's about $500 or $650. So now I made $650 in audiobook sales, $600 in book sales. I just made, ladies and gentlemen, $1,250 in one event without even doing a consultative appointment. And then when you factor in these back-end products at around $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, you can easily see how this event is going to make probably close to about $75,000, $80,000 to $100,000, not including financial planning back-end, SAT prep, and the other back-end residual products. So again, I hope this video was of use for you. So when I talk about results-based thinking, is understand what your outcome is in mind. Know what you're trying to do. Have products. Know how to pitch those products. And if you do, then you're going to be, of course, one step closer to becoming a seven-figure college planner. So with that being said, I wish you the very best of luck. Let's make it happen, and I'll see you in our next video.